Whew. Building a brand new construction home can take a while. It takes anywhere from 3 to 9 months, maybe even more, for your new home to be complete. And that depends on which stage it's in when you go under contract. Compared to buying a pre-existing home, that can be a lot of time. There are important decisions you need to make, and you might end up getting cold feet somewhere along the way. If you're worried about that happening to you, just know that that's definitely normal and you are not alone. So, what happens if you're in the middle of the build process and you say, Kristyn, I don't know if this house is right for me? Are you stuck? Are you gonna lose all your money? We're gonna talk about that today because this is important for you to understand. So let's get into it. First of all, I'm glad that you're looking into new construction in the Charleston area. It's a great option here. Now with my new construction clients, the question inevitably comes up. What happens to my money? Where does it go if we decide to back out? What if my finances change and I can't afford it? So there's a couple of things that happen. Let's say that you've signed the contract, you've chosen your floor plan, you've chosen your upgrades, and you've made your initial Ernest Money deposit. Congratulations! You're now engaged to your new home. This means that no one else can buy the house that you're buying. This is going to be your house. Well, it's not your house yet, it's not finalized, but you will end up together somewhere along the way. So, when you put down the Ernest Money deposit, that is you buying the engagement ring. And before we get into the next part, my name's Kristyn. I was born and raised in Charleston. I work with my mom, and together we are the Garcia team with Carolina One Real Estate. We specialize in new construction, and we would love to help you out. So if you have any questions about new construction or the real estate process, let's schedule a time to talk. My information is down below. Whether you're moving to Charleston or Somerville or you already live here in town, I'd love to talk with you. So now, the Ernest Money deposit can vary based on the builder. Sometimes it's a flat fee, sometimes it's a percentage of the purchase price, either it's 1% or it's 3%, it just depends on the builder. And here's a tip, if you're low on immediate funds and you want to buy a house, you can actually negotiate with the builder and see if you can split that deposit into 2 or 3 payments. For one of my clients, we asked to split it up into 3 payments, and he made one payment every 1 to 2 weeks. And that helped him out a lot because he knew when his next paycheck was coming. So if you're planning on doing that and you have questions about it, just feel free to ask. When you do make that deposit, remember that that is your money. It's credited to you back at closing, so they don't keep it when you close. So then that money that you've already deposited doesn't go into your loan. Now for my clients, this is often the point in the process where they tend to get cold feet, and that's totally fine, it's totally normal. This happens with any home purchase, not just new construction. So if you're feeling this way, that's part of it. However, I want you to remember that this is a legally binding contract between you and the builder. There's a lot of language when you look in the contract. There's a lot of language that can be confusing, especially if you haven't bought a house in a while. And those contracts are written to protect the builder, not to protect you. So if you have questions about the contract, we usually set up a time for you to speak with a real estate attorney, someone that really is qualified to walk you through the legalese of it. That Ernest Money is non-refundable, so make sure that before you sign the contract, you've decided that you're committed to that neighborhood, you're committed to that house, and everything in your head is a final decision. Now, it's one thing if your financing doesn't go through because of interest rates. Maybe interest rates change and they go up and you can no longer afford that house. If the contract falls through due to financing like that, then you will typically get your money back because it's not a situation that is your fault. If it's not your fault, you will typically get your money back. Now, let's say that you can afford it, but your job changes. Maybe you have to move to a different state instead of moving to Charleston or Somerville. Do you get your money back? Well, actually, that depends. That's the whole premise of this video. It depends on the builder and it's up to them at that point, because that's kind of a gray area, but it's up to them. They're not obligated to give you your Ernest Money deposit back in that situation. If they are reasonable and understanding, they will give you your money back. But again, that's totally up to them at that point. So please make sure if you're moving to a job relocation, make sure that it's solid ahead of time. I've seen builders do very different things, and I've seen the same builder actually act different in different communities. So it depends on the community, it depends on the sales agent there, the builder, who the team is. they can be drastically different. I'm not gonna say which ones here, but if you call me, I can tell you more details about it. So some builders are more reasonable and they will go above and beyond for you, and they'll release your earnest money back to you. But on the other side of the coin, I've seen builders be a stickler for the rules and they just won't deviate from that. That's a tough situation to deal with. Sometimes they'll want to hold on to your earnest money, but they'll let you use it at another community that they're building in. And you might have up to a year to use that earnest money deposit. So let's say you did put your deposit down here in Charleston, but you get moved to North Carolina. If it's the same builder in North Carolina and they have another community, they can take your earnest money deposit and put it towards that community. Or they might even decide to refund half of your money, your earnest money deposit. So it just depends. It depends on how you ask. It depends on the circumstance. It depends on their experience with you. Like, they'll try to pull more strings if they do like you. People don't like to talk about that, but it's absolutely true. So I want to emphasize that they're not required to give that money back to you. So make sure you're final with your decision and you're not backing out just because you feel like it. If it's a financing issue, then it's not your fault. They'll give it back to you. So this is not always a black and white process. It can sometimes be gray. And remember that we're all human, so be kind and the whole process will go much more smoothly for you. My job is to help you navigate the process along with, the emotions that come up and the questions that inevitably come up. So if you want the process to be quicker, you can always choose a home that's close to completion. Instead of having something that's built from the ground up in a few months, you can choose something that's move-in ready or ready in a few months. And typically builders will have something ready in 30 days, 45 days, 60 days, all the way up to something that you can build in a few months. If you'd like for us to send you a list of move-in ready homes in a community that you're interested in or a certain builder that you like, just reach out and we can do that for you. My information is down below. So in addition to builders having homes that are ready in the next 30 or 45 days, sometimes every now and then you'll find a home come back on the market and now you have another home to choose from aside from their typical inventory. So again, in that case, if that buyer's home went back on the market due to financial situations changing, then that's what's called a financial contingency. And that's a different thing. People are very understanding about that and you'll get your money back again because it's not your fault that that fell through. So if that's your concern, then no need to worry about that here. So if you have questions about real estate in general or new construction specifically, feel free to schedule a time with me. You'll either be speaking with me or my mom. We both work together. We're the Garcia team of Carolina One Real Estate, and we love helping people move here. And if you haven't yet decided if you want new construction or a pre-existing home, then make sure to watch this video here.